Okay, alright, on this video I'm going to show you how to create a database, essentially. Right, so load up Access, click on blank desktop database, and then give it a name. Make sure you save it in the correct place. I'm going to put one on my desktop, which you can't do. So you want to put yours in your N drive or whatever it's called. Now give it a decent name. This is going to be about students, so I'm going to call it students. Okay, click OK, click Create, and that's the database created. Now before we do anything, it comes up with this horrible view here. Just close that down. So what we're going to do is create a table. Okay, so we're going to go to Create tab and Table Design. Now we're going to have some fields. So we want student ID, and when you do field names, it's a good idea not to put spaces in them. You can use what's called camel case, so you start each new word with a capital. And for this one I'm going to use auto number. I'll explain what that is in a minute. And then I'm going to do title, Mr. or Mrs, something like that. Now I know that's probably not necessarily needed for students, but I'm going to put it in for good reason. And I'm going to keep that short text. So that's short text. Now if you look down here, it says field size 255. Now I don't need that many, so I'm going to change that to Mr. or Mrs. There's not going to be very many. Ms is 4, I think, with a full stop 5. So we go for 5. And then first name, and I won't capitalise the first word. That's again short text, and again I don't need 255 characters for that, so I'll change that to 20, and I'll do last name, which is again short text, and that'll do 20 again. Now I'm going to put something different now. So we're going to have DOB, date of birth. Now that's what we're going to use for that is date time, and that will be useful later. And then we need something numeric about the student. So number, I'm going to say number of lates. It doesn't really, it's just so we can have a number in there basically. So I'm going to set number. Now you've got a choice here for numbers. Now it says down here field size, and you've got options here. So byte means you can have up to 255. Integer is, I think it's 2 bytes, 4 bytes long integer. Single is a number with a decimal point. A double is another number with a decimal point but bigger. No idea what that is. Decimal is another number with a decimal point. Because we need a whole number there, we can either going to use byte, integer or long integer. Integer would be fine, or long integer. Byte will probably, no one's going to have more than 255 lates, but you've got the options there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is make this the primary key. Now what that means is that is unique for every student. So you'll have your own national insurance number, you'll have your own ID for students, etc. Right, so we want to save that, so click Save, and it wants to say TBL, short for table, and I'm going to call it student. Normally table names are singular, not plural, and that's it. We've now created the table. Okay, so what we need to do now is put some data in it. So right click, so we'll just double click on it, and then we can enter some data. So there's title, so I say Mr. First name Dave Roberts, and because it's a date of birth, it's a field there, we can then, it'll knows it's about that. Number of lates 34, and there we go. So that's our first one, and if I add another one, it'll automatically be 2. To delete one, just click there, press delete key. Alright, so that's how you quickly set up an Access database. It is pretty straightforward.